Izumi.
はい。堀さん。
Oh no, Valentine's Day. Another year with no one to waste money on, and in an especially hard previous year to meet people, most are probably still sitting in a similar situation, but just because you are alone doesn't mean that you can't imprint on the overly romanticized, carefree melodrama of another season's romance. Fall into the hole. It's alright. There'll always be something for you here. From straightforward harem romances where you can marry your sister, to light-hearted comedy harems where your sister has a crush on you, to melodramatic harems where you can try to predict which Okay, why are all these ones just incest? But while it's true that there are countless romances to date, few of them seem to have progressing stories to tell, normally beginning or ending with the same status quo set up and no solid conclusions. Sometimes you'll happen to see some sort of minute growth made. If you're lucky, they might even confess whole hands or no, they couldn't kiss by the closing episode of their usually permanent 12-episode run. So, originally I was going to take now to talk about why Horimiya is great for not doing that and all that sort of stuff, but then I found out that Horimiya is apparently currently the most popular original romance manga to date. I mean, depending on how you rank that. Think of some of the most popular romance stuff you can think of in the whole otaku scene. Toradora, well, that was originally a light novel. Clannad. That was originally a visual novel. Kaguya-sama, that is not as popular as Horimiya. I don't know why, but it feels like the series just phased in from another universe because I didn't even hear about it until the upcoming season popped it up near the top of the list. Okay, so what is this ranked on? Well, that's difficult because popularity doesn't always equate to sales. You could have two series with equal-sized fan bases and fervor, but if one series has 10 total volumes and the other has 40, it's going to look like one is 4 times more popular when in all actuality the install base is the same. So then, how? I think you look at the more involved otaku community and see how many people have it on their list. So the two largest aggregators people seem to use is the Virgin Mal and the Chad AniList. According to AniList, it turns out there are only 10 manga more popular than Horimiya, and most are exactly what you'd expect. We got Attack on Titan, My Hero Academia, Tokyo Ghoul, Berserk, 4Kids Dub, that one show with a popular movie, Chicken Run, Solo Leveling, which is technically just a manhwa, so Horimiya is actually technically in the top 10 if you're talking about that, but I digress. We got the Less Good One manga, the manga that I made a video on when I was extremely depressed. Please don't watch it. Oh god, how has this video gotten so many views over the years? I had like 1,000 subs when I made it. And finally, Horimiya. Now, some of these top placements slightly vary to Mal, so Horimiya is actually number 13 there, with a few changes being Naruto, Bleach, Full Metal Alchemist. But this really makes you think, what does Horimiya beat? And this is the craziest part to me. A Silent Voice, Hunter x Hunter, Freakin' Haikyuu, Vinland Saga, Black Clover, Maiden Abyss, and countless other manga don't come in on as many people's list as Horimiya. The next highest romance manga on that list is Kaguya-sama, which has already had 2 extremely popular and well-received anime seasons, and after that is Komi-san and Nagatoro. And a little farther down is Nisakoi. Still, while this metric is far, far from perfect, I won't pretend like this is an absolute, completely correct list. With so many different variables and ways to judge, I still think it's a very reasonable conclusion for someone to easily come to. So then, now that it's been thoroughly hyped, what is Horimiya? Other than being the #1 dual-acting, loneliness amplifier and loneliness coping mechanism, it's what you would largely expect from a successful romance. When you compile most of the complaints of the romance genre over the years, the initial issues are thankfully mostly resolved here, at least to start. 2 characters start off as strangers, but through different circumstances, seemingly minor, they bump into each other and get a grasp on their alternate personas. Hori being the hardworking family and sale-focused girl behind the scenes, and Miyamura being an attractive, kind of airheaded rebellious type, despite giving off nerdy otaku vibes at school. We also get a good cast of side characters that adapt and seem to fall for each other as the series progresses too. So, for me, once again, I had no idea that Horimiya was such a titan of manga until recently, with my first reaction on a impression stream being pretty uninterested. What is this? What is this? Okay. Everyone has a side to them that they don't want anyone to know about. The walrus side. The large goose. The shedding antelope. The strange moose. Wait, but this guy's at the front. Is that the guy who had the... That's not the same guy, is it? It is it? Obviously, my mind has changed a lot after watching a bit, but I still didn't put it in my top 3 originals for the seasonal video. But with the strengths that have continued each episode, I'm obviously at the point where making this video seems like the only choice. So what are these strengths? The number one thing, like I mentioned earlier, is how it addresses the classic romance criticisms. Most romance series are basically just indefinitely running gag manga, with either no or small gradual developments over long spans of time, like Kaguya and Nagatoro, and there's no problem with that. Other types of romance series, in order to keep interest from the viewer, include lots of different love interests that are introduced on the comedy and on the drama side, like classically Fruits Basket, Nisekoi, and plenty of others. Basically, there's not enough Toradoras and Golden Times, and so I'm glad to get another straight romance. The progression, which isn't a spoiler from my perspective, is really evenly spaced, where it feels like something is happening in each episode. Episode 1, they're strangers who start hanging out and find each other's secrets. As a side note, one of the friends has a crush on Hori. In episode 2, that friend confesses and is turned down. In episode 3, you get a good look at Miyamura's oblivious mindset informed by past trauma and low self-esteem, and Hori seems to start realizing her feelings and get protective of Miyamura. Episode 4, Miyamura confesses. By the end of episode 5, they've begun dating and holding hands? But that's not it. Just yesterday's episode, episode 6, they have their first kiss. Hello? What is this? Why is it so hard to do? Not that I don't like teetering around doing nothing all the time, but this shouldn't be as rare as it is, and I am beyond happy seeing it. That's not to mention plenty of other good moments like Miyamura headbutting the student council president, or the slow progression of the green-haired girl coming in clutch for our boy who got rejected in episode 2. Honestly, the only thing that I don't like too much about the show is how perfect Miyamura is. Like, he's basically just a dumb puppy who accidentally says all the sweetest things. He's shy and soft, but then he's also super fit and manly when he calls for it. He's got the piercings and the tattoos, but he's really a sweet guy, and so it balances things kind of funny to me with Hori, who gets easily jealous that she becomes openly violent. She's very temperamental and isn't very good at sharing her feelings, and ends up punishing Miyamura often for her own jealousy and misunderstanding. She does apologize later, especially in episode 5, but so does Miyamura, and he really didn't do anything wrong. And he hadn't even had Hori confirm her feelings for him at that point, so it's even more weird. To say the least, it sort of just feels like, despite working out character flaws for him, most of the time it feels like he's Mr. Perfect, at least early on in the series, there to serve her. I can't say that reflects on the whole series, but we're halfway through the season, and that is genuinely about all I have to comment on, negatively speaking. So hey, single or not, maybe Horimiya would be a nice companion for you in February's month of love. Just a side note, my code HIDING can get 600 yen off of any Horimiya digital manga that you want to buy in conjunction with the special February sale on Bookwalker, a Japanese-owned, official publisher and distributor of manga that directly supports the creators and manga industry. So, consider checking it out. After all, have I mentioned yet? You look wonderful today. Seriously, wow. Your quarantine hair looks great, and I'd love to have more opportunities to talk and get to know you, so why don't you follow me on Twitter, where you can see posts and stuff early sometimes, or consider becoming my patron and joining my monthly voice chat on Discord. Also, hey, my birthday is next month, March 18th to be exact, and I have a P.O. box, so if you got any birthday ideas and want me to open them on stream... Anyways, thanks to my top patrons, Whizbang2093, Friendly Neighbor, Daniel Frousing, VCTF, My Name is Klein, and all my other patrons and Twitch supporters. Finally, I wish you all a very happy and love-filled future. And if you're alone, don't let it get you down too bad.